Howdy headset homies, today I'm finally getting round to reviewing one of the PSVR2's absolute must-plays, Resident Evil 4 Remake. This one's what I'm calling a retro review. It's been out for a while, I've already completed it, and the hype's died down. I've now replayed it to freshen my memory, so these retro reviews won't be clouded by excitement or that new game smell. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell if you enjoy my videos. Alright, let's go shoot some ganados. When I first jumped in, I was immediately hit by just how stunning it looks. The gentle moonlight mist creeping through the trees, crows cawing overhead, and that incredible environmental detail as I first walked through the woods. It's atmospheric, eerie and visually one of the best looking VR games out there. I genuinely just stood there for a moment, taking it all in. It's that good.
This isn't your granddad's Resident Evil. If you've somehow been living under a rock for the last couple of decades, Resident Evil 4 was one that shifted the series from pure horror to more action-driven survival. And this remake stays faithful to that. You play as Leon S. Kennedy, tasked with tracking down the president's kidnapped daughter. Your search leads to a creepy rural village in Spain, and from there a gripping twist-filled story unfolds. One minute you're fighting for your life against crazed villagers, the next you're racing through a mine on a cart, leaning into turns and hitting track switches, blasting enemies, and then next you're fighting mutated, camouflaged insects in underground lairs. Leon's no rookie anymore, he's a hardened combat veteran, and in VR he feels every bit the badass. You've got 2 guns on your shoulders, 4 hip holsters, a combat knife perfect for stealth kills, finishing off down ganados or even parrying attacks, and grenades on your chest. You can spin kick, body slam and generally handle yourself like an action hero. It's basically Resident Evil directed by Michael Bay, explosions and all.
Even though it's a hybrid, a flat screen game enhanced with VR, it feels fantastic inside the headset. I've never played it flat and honestly, I don't need to. The immersion, scale and combat feel are on another level. The game's split into chapters that last around 1 to 2 hours, but they flow seamlessly so it never feels disjointed.
Oh, she's here. That's for sure. I'll find a way in. Condor 1, out.
The merchant makes a welcome return, and hearing that iconic voice instantly hits that nostalgia sweet spot. Exploration's encouraged. Sure, the main goal is usually to get from point A to B, but there's plenty of freedom to wander. You'll find treasures, ammo, herbs, and other loot to sell or craft with, so make sure to manage your inventory at each typewriter. The merchant also dishes out side tasks like hunting strong enemies, clearing out rats or shooting hidden medallions. These are worth doing since they earn you special trade tokens for exclusive gear like treasure maps or weapon mods. He's even got a shooting range set up in some spots. Score high and you'll earn tokens to use in a gumball machine, unlocking key rings that attach to your case and grant small perks like crafting extra ammo. There's a perfect amount of collectibles, enough to be rewarding without getting tedious, and the crafting system returns with all the classics, combining herbs, making ammo and inlaying gems to boost treasure value.
Honestly, the gameplay is just phenomenal. There wasn't a single chapter I didn't enjoy. It even throws in moments of pure horror. Those regenerators make a comeback and the sound they make is nightmare fuel. Your partnership with Ashley adds another layer. She climbs up to reach places you can't, and no, I didn't look up her skirt as she climbed the ladder, you filthy pervert. I'm a respectable gentleman. Maybe. Occasionally she needs saving from ganados trying to grab her. It's classic RE4 but so much more intense in VR. and I appreciate that the game ditches realism for fun in the right places. Drop a weapon, throw your knife, it just reappears in your quick slot after a few seconds. Reload a shotgun, one shell magically fills it up. These small touches keep the pace fast and fluid, which matters when you're surrounded by screaming villagers. There are also simple classic puzzles to break up the action, and easy to understand map for easy backtracking for missed treasures and prevent you getting lost. Boss fights, enemy variety such as infected villagers, dogs, creepy facehugger style creatures, lots of weapon upgrades and mods like scopes. It just has everything, polished mechanics all round. As I mentioned earlier, visually it's incredible. It takes full advantage of eye-tracked foveated rendering, keeping detail razor sharp where you're looking. The Mora is surprisingly low considering how dark the game is. The OLED display really shines with deep, inky blacks that make the atmosphere pop. I did notice, and this applies to every RE game in VR, so it's probably engine related, that if you stand perfectly still, some parts of the environment wobble slightly. It's rare and not a big deal since the game's so action-packed, you're rarely standing still anyway. Lighting looks great overall, though you can tell some of it's baked in rather than dynamic. Nitpicky, sure, but worth mentioning. The game's reprojected at 60 FPS to 120, which is noticeable at first but easy to adapt to, and being a darker game helps mask it nicely. Sound design is top tier. The music builds tension perfectly, from eerie ambience to adrenaline pumping battle themes. Ganados yell creepy lines repeatedly, but honestly that repetition adds to the chaos and atmosphere. The world's full of ambient creaks, rattling chains and swinging lights that make it feel genuinely alive.
What was that? Did they keep animals down here or something?
I may have experienced a few frame rate drops during my playthrough, but they were so brief and rare that I'm not even sure they actually happened. It could have just been Leon brushing up against a wall or something. My most recent run was on the PS5 Pro, but even when I first played it on the base PS5, I don't remember any frame rate issues at all. The mix of frantic battles and quieter exploration sections means there's enough downtime to keep you going for hours without getting completely knackered. You can choose between smooth or snap turning, though I didn't spot a vignette option. There's no official seated mode, but everything scales properly if you do play sitting down, which isn't the case in some games like Phasmophobia, for example. Just make sure you've got a swiveling stool, because you'll be twisting and reaching for those weapons constantly in the heat of battle. The VR factor in this game is the combat. Sure, it looks fantastic and the sense of scale is spot on, but it's the way you can seamlessly switch weapons, admire the insane detail on each gun, and feel that near perfect haptic feedback through both the controllers and the headset that make it shine. Every weapon reloads differently, giving each one its own character. Being able to parry, throw your knife and move so naturally just adds to the next level immersion. The fluidity, tactility and overall physicality of it all. This is what VR was made for. Come on, you already know what score this one's getting. Sure, being a hybrid of a flat game means there are a few quirks, like that weird out of body camera when you kick, body slam or climb, or the slight wobble in certain environments, or your gun clipping through objects, and of course those flat screen cutscenes. Yeah, those things can pull you out of immersion for a moment, but they never take away from the fun, and that's the key. It would be an absolute crime to give this game anything less than a tremendous 10 out of 10 on the Dave-ometer. I spent around 20 hours exploring everything this game has to offer, though the Mercenaries mode and Separate Ways DLC don't have VR support. Unlocking character models, costumes and extras gives you loads of reasons to replay. You can grab the base game for around 20 quid physical, and it often goes on sale digitally for around the same. The VR mode itself is a free add-on, which is just unreal value. So if you don't already own this game, go and buy it now. It's an absolute must-play masterpiece in VR. What about you? What score would you give it? Would you knock any points off for the hybrid quirks? Or is it still a 10 out of 10 in your book too? Drop your thoughts in the comments. That's it for this one. I'm off to seek therapy to try and forget the sound of regenerators and the image of their weird jiggly butts. Until next time, stay virtual and happy gaming.